Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. I welcome you to English grade 7 video lessons. I'm your instructor Zahmid. I hope that you're doing well and you are enjoying your learning time. Now, we know that we are dealing with our unit number 2 by the title Etiquettes of Travel and Transport. This will be our lecture 5B with the competency of writing. Now, let's learn about our students' learning outcome and let's see that what we are supposed to do in this video lesson. So, our SLO is write a simple descriptive composition giving physical description and characteristics or traits of a person, object or place, moving from general to specific, using correct punctuation, complex vocabulary and spelling by using the process approach, brainstorm, mind mapping, writing a first draft and final draft. The SLO that we merged with this one is follow the steps of the process approach to plan for writing a paragraph, in which you will be using techniques like brainstorming, structuring, mind mapping, using a variety of graphic organizers, free writing and note taking. Now, my dear learners, we are already familiar with the process approach of writing, about pre-writing, drafting and then post-writing. Now, we have also seen and we have gone through techniques like brainstorming, mind mapping and other techniques that are mentioned in this SLO, and you will recall all of them by yourself. Now, we will be talking about descriptive composition, writing descriptive text. Now, in this one, we will be giving physical description and characteristics or traits to a person, place or thing, and also we will be using correct punctuation, complex vocabulary and spelling by using the process approach of writing that you are already familiar with it. Moving on, by completely understanding and breaking down our students' learning outcome, here is a vertical linkage of these two SLOs with the previous grade that you have already gone through. My dear learners, it's time to storm your brains a little bit by doing this brainstorming activity, in which we have a very simple question for you, that how would you describe a person or place? For example, if you are given a task to describe a person or place in writing, how would you describe? What kind of language will you use? I need you to think about it and talk to your teacher and your fellows. Now, after this brainstorming session, let's talk about our topic, which is about descriptive writing or about descriptive essay. Now, my dear learners, let's talk about descriptive writing. So, descriptive writing creates a picture of a person, place, thing or event. Description tells what something looks, sounds, smells, tastes or feels like. Now, did you notice that our senses, tasting, touching, smelling and hearing, all of these will be addressed in our descriptive writing. Descriptive writing is about writing and creating picture of a person or place or anything that you are describing in your writing. Moving on, about how do we write a descriptive essay? What kind of language and what are the techniques and tips that we need to remember in order to write a good descriptive essay? Now, number one thing that we have in our students' learning outcome as well is about general to specific writing. Let's see what it is. General to specific writing. In descriptive writing, general to specific means starting with a broad description and then adding more detailed information step by step. So this is how we move from general to specific writing in our paragraph. Start with a strong opening that sets the scene and draws the reader in. So the opening of the essay or anything that you're writing should be very much engaging for the reader in order to make him read more and all of it. So this is how you move from journal to specific writing, by showing a journal statement in the opening, a very stronger one, and then moving on with the details followed. Now let's see, we will be using sensory details in our writing, and especially if you're writing your descriptive essays. So let's see what these details are about. We use sensory details to create a vivid picture in the reader's mind, describe what can be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, and felt. So in the sensory details, you will be talking about, and you will be actually hitting all the different senses that are mentioned here for the reader to actually experience the description, or the description of the thing, place, or anything that you are mentioning. So this is why we use sensory details, in which we use vivid language which is very much open and describing anything in detail. Now this is how we use sensory details. Moving on, my dear learners, we use the technique of show, don't tell. What does it mean? Instead of simply stating how a character feels or what is happening, use actions and dialogue to convey the information. Now, in descriptive writing, whether you're writing it in fiction or non-fiction, let's say in an essay, you have to use show more and tell less. You can show more by using the sensory details and your vivid language. Now, we will be using figurative language in our descriptive writing. Use of figurative language such as similes and metaphors to add depth and complexity to your descriptions. Now, we already know about figurative language. We will be using figurative language, those phrases, those all the devices that we use in our figurative language in our description of any place, thing, or any person. Then we will be using the figurative language in order to make our descriptive writing stronger and more relatable to the reader. Now, moving on, another technique is vary your sentence structure. Use short, punchy sentences for emphasis. Use longer sentences to add detail. This keeps the reader engaged. So, you will be using both short sentences, short structured sentences, and long structured sentences in order for the reader to have the interest in reading the writing. You will be using short, punchy sentences for emphasizing on something, and longer sentences if you want to add details into it. Now, we also have to use transitions to move smoothly. You are familiar with the transitional devices and transitional words. We use transitions to move smoothly from one idea or scene to the next. Transitional words like therefore, however, furthermore, you can use all these and much more of them in your writing in order to transition in a smoother way. Now, next one is develop your characters through their actions, thoughts, and dialogues rather than simply describing them. Now, you will be using your details, your traits of the characters if you're writing anything that is in the fictional form of descriptive writing. You will convey your messages, develop your characters through their actions that they are performing, through their thoughts when you are quoting their thoughts in the writing, and the dialogues rather than simply describing them. You cannot keep on going by describing the character. You will also have to add dialogues, actions to actually keep those characters coming alive to the reader. Now, here is a passage for you. This is Gregory by Barbara Carter. You can read this one and find out that what kind of descriptive language and what techniques are used in writing this one. Moving on with your simulation video, you will learn more about descriptive composition using the simulation video that you can watch later on, and the teacher will play for you in the class. Now moving on with our classroom activity from page 16 of your book. This is question A. You have to write a descriptive essay about a familiar place that you have visited. Follow the given steps for writing. You will follow the pre-writing techniques like brainstorming or mind mapping, and also in drafting part of the process approach of writing, you will be writing the first draft, then editing it, and ultimately finally writing the final draft after editing and proofreading it. Now, this is all about the process approach of writing that you have already familiar with. This is your worksheet for your practice, and it is available in the resources. Now, for your homework, you have page number 16 from your book. We will be doing a project. You have to create a comprehensive guidebook on travel etiquettes for a specific destination or travel scenario. Research. Choose a destination or travel scenario to focus on visiting a foreign country, airport travel, train travel. Conduct thorough research on the cultural norms, customs, and etiquette practices associated with the chosen destination or scenario. Now, these are general instructions for actually performing the project or writing the project that you are given. And finally, we are here at the end with some resources for your better understanding and your support. Worksheet, presentation, skill sheet, lesson plan, and question bank. All these resources are available in the description of the video. My dear learners, I hope that you had great time learning about descriptive composition, and we also recalled the process approach of writing, where we saw pre-writing techniques, drafting, and then in the post-writing, writing the final draft. We saw that we use sensory details and vivid verbs and so many other techniques that we saw in writing a descriptive composition. Till the next video lesson, Allah Hafiz.